Yo, what's good, guys? Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time, it's a pretty interesting one, pretty good one that I'm pretty excited to tell. I hope you all enjoy it. Before I get into it, just want to say I dropped a new song a couple months ago. Definitely should check that out. I have more music coming out soon, before the end of next month. A lot of music's coming out. So look forward to that for all the music listeners. But today's story time is a good one that I've been waiting to tell for a while. I hope you enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you do, and let's get into it. So today's story time all starts off back in the year 2015. Now in 2015, I was pretty stupid, okay? I was in high school, early high school, and life was cool, life was good. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, my life wasn't that great back then. It wasn't terrible by any means. There was definitely people that had it worse than me. I'm not saying I was miserable, but my routine every day, it was just kind of, pretty depressing on the school days because I had to wake up at like 6 in the morning and I was just so miserable because I wouldn't sleep. Like, I don't know why, but during the school week, I literally could not sleep before the hours of like 4 in the morning. And then I'd fall asleep and have to wake up 2 hours later for the school bus. But like, in the summer or like a weekend, I would get tired at like 6 p.m. and I could sleep. It was ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, my routine back then, same shit every day. Just waking up, going to school, trying to get through my day, make it to the weekend, and then enjoy the weekend with my friends and stuff, and, make it to the summertime, right? Well, this all starts off like any other normal day back then. I got up out of bed, took a shower. I actually got up pretty early on this day. I barely slept. I probably slept like an hour. I remember I woke up like feeling exhausted, but, I had to get in the shower and stuff because can't be going to school smelling like garbage. So I showered, got ready, went to school, and literally the minute I stepped into the building, like the minute I got to school, my friend Vinny comes up to me and he's like, "Yo, I got something for you." And I was like, "What? What does that mean?" He's like, "Just follow me." He starts bringing me to the bathroom. Now, back then, I was definitely a pretty big stoner. If you guys haven't watched this channel for more than like a day, I'm sure most of you know that already. Like my high school years and a couple years after high school, I definitely smoked my fair share of weed, and a lot of really good story times on this channel kind of revolve around that era of my life. But yeah, Vinny, the person I was going to the school bathroom with, was someone that I used to smoke with a lot. I used to smoke with him like pretty much every other day, like after school. So yeah, when he was taking me to the bathroom and he said he had something for me, I assumed it might have been weed. I didn't know for sure, but like I had a feeling. And yeah, I get in the bathroom and sure enough, like 5 seconds after going to the bathroom and seeing nobody was in there, he reaches into his pocket, he pulls out a little Ziploc bag, and I see 2 little weed nugs in there. And he's like, "This is yours. I want you to have it." And I was like, "Bro, what? Why? Like, why are you giving me this?" He's like, "Well, I smoked this morning, and honestly, man, I left it in my pants, and I forgot to take it out before getting on the bus, and I just don't want to hold it on me all day. Like, that I'm already in trouble with the principal and shit. I don't want to get in trouble more." And that was true. He literally had lunch detention with the principal every day for like a month because he got caught like skipping school like 3 different times in the same week. So he didn't want to get in more trouble and like get suspended or expelled or something. So yeah, he wanted me to basically take it. He's like, "Yeah, man, like you can take this, you can keep it. I don't want to hold it on me all day. I don't want to risk getting caught." And I was like, "Oh, okay, so you want me to risk it?" He's like, "Yeah, man, well, if you get caught, like you're on less thin ice than I am. Like I'll get in a lot more trouble." And he had a point. And honestly, I didn't care. I was willing to take the risk. Now, obviously, like if someone in your school goes up to you and says this, don't take that risk. But yeah, I didn't care. I was like, you know what? Like I want to smoke weed and I want free weed, so why not? So I took it. Now, after I took it, I went to my first period class and I just had it in my pants pocket and I had it double wrapped. I wrapped it up in like another bag that I had in my locker from like an old like sandwich or something from my lunchbox. And yeah, I just literally had that in my pants, double bagged. Didn't smell like anything. The double bagging and the fact that it wasn't the greatest weed pretty much meant that like you couldn't really smell it at all. So I thought I'd be fine. I thought the whole day would be great and I wouldn't get caught and it would be fine, right? Well, little did I know that in my second period class, I was about to make a very stupid mistake. So after my first period class was over and the bell rang and I went to my next period class, I sat down and my teacher wasn't in the room yet. She was like out in the hallway talking to somebody. And I sat in the back of the room, right? I sat in the back left corner. I usually would sit in the back of the room if we didn't have assigned seats in any of my classes. And the teacher I had for this class, she was really chill. I remember like specifically out of all my teachers that I had that year, she was probably one of my favorites just because she was so chill. Like if you messed up Or like if you did something wrong, she was always so cool about it and like wouldn't like completely freak out on you because she knew that like we were all human and made mistakes. But I remember always thinking like, she's got to smoke weed or something. Like she's too chill. Like she never got mad. I never heard her voice get raised above like a certain decibel. So anyway, I sit down in the back of the room and a few minutes later she comes into the class after she's done talking to that kid in the hallway and she starts class up. And that whole class went completely smooth, completely normal. And after class was over, I got up and I left the classroom. And I went to my locker. I got my stuff for my next period class. I went to third period. And about halfway through third period, I was putting my phone back in my pocket because I had to like text somebody quick. And I felt something missing in my other pocket. I was like, oh shit, my weed's gone. My weed fell out of my pocket. And I had no idea where. I didn't know if it was in my chair in second period class, like at that desk I was sitting at. I didn't know if it fell out in the hallway somewhere while I was walking, or like on the ground in my classroom when I was leaving. I didn't know where it was, but all I knew was there was some weed somewhere that I lost. And if someone picks it up, it's a teacher or like a faculty member, they're going to look for whoever dropped it, especially if it was in like the hallway. Like if it was in the hallway, if I dropped it in the hallway, they could just check the cameras and see who was walking around the hallway, shortly before they found it. And they'd probably see me drop it. So I'm freaking out in third period class, right? Like I'm having a panic attack because I'm like, dude, I fucking lost my weed in school. And like, please tell me a teacher didn't find it, right? Now, the whole rest of that day, I was just paranoid. The entire day, I was walking around just completely paranoid that I was gonna get called to the main office and just yelled at by my principal and like, just like super paranoid, right? Because I didn't want to get in trouble and get caught. Well, the whole rest of that day, nothing actually happened. Nobody called me to the main office, didn't get called to the principal's office, didn't get yelled at by any teachers, didn't get, anyone coming up to me asking if I dropped it. Everything was like, fine. Other than the fact that I lost the weed, everything was going good. Now, the end of the day rolls along. I get on my bus. I go home. I spend the rest of the day just playing Xbox and stuff. And then the next school day rolls around. I get up in the morning and I'm paranoid again. I'm thinking like, I'm going to walk into school and the first thing I'm going to hear is like Austin to the principal's office. Like I had never been so paranoid from weed without smoking it, right? Like it was crazy. Anyway, I get to school. I go to my first period class. Everything's fine. No one comes on the announcements. No one calls me up to the main, office or whatever. I go to second period and I walk in and my chill teacher is sitting there at her desk. Remember that chill teacher I was talking about? And she sees me walk in and she goes, hey, Austin, come here real quick. And she starts bringing me out to the hallway. And I already knew what it was about. I already knew what was about to happen. I knew. Like literally that was the last place I had the weed. So I had a feeling I dropped it in my chair or something or like on the ground underneath my desk. And she found it. And I was right. She brought me out in the hallway and she goes, Austin, you dropped something yesterday in my class. Do you know what it is? And I was like, yeah, I know. And she goes, oh, wow, that was easy. I thought you were going to lie about it. And I was like, no, I'm not going to lie about it. Like, I'll be honest. And she was like, cool. Well, that goes a long way with me. Like, honesty is important. And I was like, yeah, I know. And she was like, well, just, you're not getting it back. Okay. And consider this one free pass. Your only free pass of the year. Because you can get suspended for that. You might even be able to get expelled. And I don't want to do that to you. Okay. You seem like a nice kid. Just don't be stupid. Don't bring that stuff to school anymore. And I was like, wait, you're not going to like send me to the office and like tell the principal? She's like, no. I was like, really? And she's like, do you want me to? And I was like, no, not at all. And she's like, okay, cool. Go back to class. So I went back in, I sat down, and I remember feeling so relieved. Like the whole rest of that day, just like so relieved. I actually think that like she was the best person that could have found it. Like anyone else probably would have like told the principal and I would have gotten in shit tons of trouble. But she didn't. She didn't tell anyone. And I remember that day at lunch, I was telling my friends about it. My one friend that had the same class with me, he was like, dude, she probably smoked it. Like she's way too relaxed all the time. She's got to smoke. She's probably happy to find it. And we were all laughing about it. And the story time doesn't end there. So fast forward years later, like probably 3 or 4 years later, right? At this point, I'm not even in school anymore. I dropped out. I was doing YouTube full time. And one day I'm at my apartment, right? And I'm craving something sweet. And I had nothing sweet at my apartment to eat. So I was like, all right, let me run to the store real quick. So I go to the store and I grab some ice cream and I grab some other junk food and I buy that stuff. I buy my groceries. And as I'm walking out of the store in the parking lot, I see none other than that teacher, and she's walking by me, and we both make eye contact, and she's giving me that look of like, you look familiar, but I don't know where from, and then it hits her, and she literally was like, oh shit, Austin, what's up? And I was like, hey, what's up? It was funny hearing her swear, because I'd never heard her swear before, and I was like, how you been? Like, how you doing? And she's like, great, like still teaching, still at the same school, like same old, and I was like, awesome. She's like, how are you doing? Like, I see your YouTube thing's going well, because she knew about it. Pretty much everyone at my school knew about it at this point, because my friends all had big mouths and just would tell everybody, which was cool. You know, they were like promoting me in a way, but I also didn't love everyone knowing about it. But yeah, I was like, yeah, my YouTube's doing good. Like, everything's going great. And she was like, yeah, you're doing like those story time videos, right? And I was like, yeah, that's what they are. And she goes, have you told that one yet from my class? And I tried to play stupid. I was like, oh, which one? She's like, come on, you know which one. When I found that weed. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I haven't told that one yet. And she's like, really? You haven't? And I was like, nah. And she's like, I gotta say, that weed sucked. And immediately I'm just thrown off guard. I'm like, wait, what? What'd you just say? She's like, yeah, I tried smoking it. That shit sucked. And I was like, are you the same woman that taught me in school? Like, did you get like cloned or something? Like, what am I hearing right now? And she's like, what? You're not in school anymore. I could say that. And I was like, I didn't expect it. That's all. And we're both laughing. And it was just so crazy, like seeing her out of her teacher element. It was just so weird. And she was super funny. And it made sense. All the rumors that I heard like in school about her like being so chill because she smoked, they were true. She smoked. I don't know if that's why she was so chill, but it probably contributed a little bit. I don't know. But anyway, I ended up asking her, I was like, you smoked that weed? And she was like, yeah, I did. I couldn't even finish it. It just tasted horrible. It was like the worst strain I've ever smoked. It smelled so bad. It tasted so bad. Like, I don't even think it was weed. And I was like, yeah, it wasn't great. The weed back then was pretty mid. And she was like, yeah. So I asked her, I was like, how long have you been smoking for? And she's like, since I was 18. And I was like, do you smoke before school? Because like, you're really chill. And she's like, no, I don't do it before school. I can't do that and then teach. I'll have a panic attack. And I was like, okay, understandable. And she was like, did you ever smoke before my classes? And I was like, maybe once or twice. And she was like, oh my, Austin, oh my. And yeah, it was just a really funny interaction. But anyway, I talked to her for about 5 minutes, and after like, catching up and stuff, we both went our separate ways. She had to go get her groceries, I had to get mine home. So we said goodbye and, good luck. And it was really cool, really, really cool. And I remember like the whole way home, I was like, yo, I gotta make a video about this. Like, I was happy I didn't tell the story before that day. Because if I told the story before then, I would have never had that amazing conclusion, right? So now when I tell it, I have this great like conclusion, and I don't know, it's just crazy. But yeah, guys, that's the story of how my teacher took my weed and then somehow was nice enough to not tell anyone about it and then smoked it. So yeah, pretty crazy in my opinion. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.
Take his 401k and I'll put it on my wrist, only why I sell my fit. Still I pop these pills and fuck my life up. Yeah, I'll take a sip, yeah, I still fall